Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn. I'm going to try, this will be for the second time, well, in several weeks, to go up to my woodlot and work on that, what we call the middle road. Last time I did that, the snow was too deep, the tractor was not having fun, I was not having fun. So, it's been several weeks. You can see here the snow has really started to melt, lots of water running. So I have no idea what the conditions up there are. I know there's still going to be snow. It's going to be heavier, but hopefully instead of 2 or 3 feet deep, it's maybe a foot or less. And that's doable. So I haven't taken you along in a while on the road, on the ride, up to the woodlot on the road. So I'll do that in time lapse and we'll meet you up there. Well, the ride up here wasn't too bad. The snow was certainly dense. But the road here up into the woodlot, this middle road, actually was not too bad getting up here. This was a stump that I sort of uncovered, so this was buried probably at least a foot in snow. We were here last, and this is sort of where I ended. You see some of the little saplings I cut. I had to sort of bury my way down to cut them. So what we're looking for here is to get to the green ribbons, which are right here. So basically at our target, the road comes at a little bit of an angle here, so we have just a slight sweep to the left to sort of match the line of these green ribbons, which is measurement wise sort of the middle of the property. That's why I'm calling it the middle road. As we go along, we'll pick and choose, you know, to go left or right based on, you know, leaving trees that I'd rather not cut. And then when we get over the bank a little bit, there's going to be a bit of a drop where I may need to do like a switchback so that the grade is not too steep. But for now, continue where I left off, which is cutting some of these smaller guys, which really are not film worthy. Like a lot of these are striped maple or striped maple, and just sort of head back that way. Well, I've cut several of these striped maple down. I was lucky enough to be able to fell them all in sort of one little pile, so I have some stems here that I've cut up that I'll throw off to the side, but even this little bit here just gives me a lot more clarity as to where the road should go. When I made that corner, I thought I would continue along there, meet up with the green ribbons, which I've taken some. I'll explain why in a bit. And sort of head there, you can see a green ribbon and then to the left. But with what I have available for open space here, it doesn't really make sense. So what I'm going to do is walk down here towards where the theoretical road location is, which is what these green ribbons are. Take them down as I go. So the reason I take these down is because now I'm going to reuse them. Since I'm out here and determined more exactly where the road's going to go, I will rehang them. So you can see a bunch there, straight ahead. And as I mentioned, I determined these flags are basically, there's another road that way, so I think it's 300 feet from that road to this road. So that from either road with a 160-foot cable, I'll have access to the entire length. Now it's going to wander a bit, so it may not be exact, and there may be some instances where I don't have quite reach, and then I just use some sort of extension chain or something like that if I needed to, but the tree would have to be sort of dead center in the middle in an area where I swerved off so that I didn't have that 150 feet. So, okay, so we're right here in line, so I'm going to sort of do a 180 with the camera. And theoretically, I can see, maybe you probably can't, but a faint green ribbon straight ahead. So that's where the theoretical road is, but the tractor's over here. So there's a decent yellow birch that I'd rather not take down. Maple, twin maple, those, I guess I could take them or leave them. So the question is, I can't really easily go over this way. Because where the tractor is actually, I've turned a bit to the left, so if I can be over that way, it'd actually be a much straighter road. But I'd have to go around these large trees or take them down and then sort of swerve back. So it's almost like I'm overshooting if I came over here. I think I'd rather stay on this side of that yellow birch. If I did that between here and the tractor, I think there's one sizable firewood tree, but the rest of it's all these little saplings. Again, I'll do a 180 with the camera. And down here is the green ribbon there. I could either go to the right of these large maples or to the left. This smooth bark gray thing is American beech, which does not have the bark disease yet that I can see. The bark disease, just all kinds of, well, this might be some indication of it. I'm not that familiar with it, but with infested tree, these sorts of little dimples or sores would be all over the tree. So here we are. Just trying to get with the straight. This is the straightest shot, but then where I am now, I have sort of a grove of larger trees that I don't want to take them all down, and they're right here where I'm standing. Anyhow, so that's the methodology that I'm using. I'll walk around a bit more. I'm not going to bore you with that. As far as the conditions, it's nice for a couple of reasons. One is the base of the trees, because the trees themselves sort of absorb the sunlight and conduct that heat down, so the snow is sort of melting around the base of them. Makes them easy to access, easy to cut. The snow depth here is, in some places it's still over a foot, but for the most part it's probably a foot or less. Relatively easy walking, and conditions are nice. It's probably in the upper 50s Fahrenheit today. Might be able to hear and see the wind is blowing above the treetops at a decent clip, probably 10 miles per hour, but down here it's just a light breeze. Alright, well, I'll figure out where I'm going to go. These green ribbons that I've collected, I'll relocate to where the actual road will go, and I'll let you know. Okay, so this is looking into the woods after lots of pondering, lots of walking around, lots of changing ribbons here, to and fro, left and right. So this is where we're going to head. It's actually going to be a straight shot. So as I walk, in fact, I forgot to relocate one ribbon. So as we walk, these trees, basically straight ahead, are going to come out. Here I have a choice between a black cherry and an ash. They are probably equally good trees, but I have more ash on my property, both here and behind the house. And we have the lingering emerald ash borer, so that will come down. Rather save a nice black cherry tree. This maple here will come down. Probably at some point would make a decent log in some sections of the stem, but it's not a super straight one and it's not that big, and this one has a lot of bumps and bruises. This one here is also a decent one, but I guess for now it'll be firewood. So what I chose to save are these two larger maples, even though that has probably some rotten spot in it. The trunk is pretty straight. This one has a straight trunk except for that, but then you offset that and then there's probably another decent log up there, and these are much larger in diameter. So that's where we'll head. Stay to the right of that yellow birch, and basically a straight shot from here to the tractor, which will be nice. Straight roads are nice. Alright, so I'll cut a lot more of these saplings. You can see there's tons of them between here and the tractor. And then come back when we have some larger trees to cut down. So this is all cleared, basically down to where I need to cut some firewood trees. So I have a lot of little sticks and stuff to sort of throw out of the way. Conditions are good. It's nice to be out here. So ones like this, a nice yellow birch that if I'd like to, I'd keep. So it's sort of in the middle of the road, but I will leave it. And for some reason, the off chance it doesn't need to come down, but I'll stand here in the middle of the road and do a 180. So this is the two large trees I'm going to save. So we'll go to the left of these guys. Take these bigger ones here where the green ribbons are out and about. Do the 180. So I could probably get away with leaving that for now. You know, logging, skidding stuff out, it's likely that it would be scratched, scarred on the inside. So I'll probably end up taking it out because the center of the road will probably actually be like over here. So yeah, sort of smack dab in the middle. Alright, so the next thing I'll do is clean up all these. Start taking down some of these big ones, figure out which ones to fell first and which direction, and then start skidding them out. That one tree which is just to the right of the tractor, which is in the middle of the road, I thought I would cut down on my way out because it's not enough to skid on its own. I'd want to take more than that, and if I drop it now, I'm afraid it might get in the way of me coming back here to get these and then going forward again. So doing road clearing like this, when I fell a tree that I need to clear the road, I prefer to ideally to fall it in the direction that I'm heading with the road, but off to the left or the right. Two reasons for that. One is that it'll likely get hung up and just sort of lean against the standing tree nearby. It's easy to grab the butt and pull it out that way, as opposed to falling it into the road and then having the top to deal with. The other thing is, if I can move it off to the left or the right, it just saves a lot on cleaning up the crown, the brush, the slash. But in the woods like this, in a more mature forest, this hardwood, there's very few branches down below, as you can see. The crowns are actually relatively small in these trees, so it's not a big deal if I have to clean them up in the middle of the road. But oftentimes, because the road ahead of me or behind me is clear, sometimes that is the easiest and best way to drop a tree. So the first one I think I'll do is this one. It's leaning in our favor towards the right. That way is sort of an opening. The road is that way, so that's an ideal location to drop that. And the next one will probably just be the one right next to it, and sort of fall in the same area. Well, everything is hooked up. Those are two 48-foot stems, three 16-foot long firewood logs, and then these couple small ones here. So if I can haul these two out, that'd be great. I think this is probably close to my capacity. It'll likely drag it to the tractor, but the question is, will the 3-point hitch lift up, and can I go without pumping a wheelie? I've been asked before about four-wheel drive. I have chains on the front. Normally I have it in two-wheel drive unless I need it in four-wheel drive, and if I do need it in four-wheel drive, my traction is not that great anyhow. The concern sometimes with chains on the front is that all four wheels have too much traction, and in four-wheel drive you can put too much strain on the drive train. But in the case of hauling a twitch like this, my front's going to be so light, the four-wheel drive is not going to do any good. Even if I have it engaged, the wheels are just going to sort of spin freely on top of the snow. So it's caught up on something. Ah, the rock. Yeah, the rock is going to be a problem for the road building. I just hope it's small enough for me to move with my excavator. Otherwise, I just have to sort of fill in around it. Let's see. Well, what I could try to do without getting my PV out is to reconnect the cable so it'll rotate the log as it comes out. Well, that's not encouraging. Strip back the sort of the moss and the leaf layer on top of that rock and it looks sizable. Well, we'll deal with that this summer, hopefully. Before I take these out, I'll just trim these little branches that were sort of in the snow. Then we'll haul it out, or see if we can haul it out. Well, that actually went a little bit better than I was thinking. Thought those two logs were going to be a bit heavier, I guess, than they actually were. So you might have noticed I do put it in four-wheel drive when I'm using the front end loader, because I need that traction with the weight on the front. So I'm going to drive in this time instead of back in. I think there's plenty of areas up there that I can turn around. It's a little bit quicker and easier to drive in and back in. Alright, so I made it up here fine in two-wheel drive. I did need four-wheel drive to turn around there, because with the dipsy doodles and getting hung up and stuff, it was difficult with the two wheels to turn around. But so the next two that I'm going to take down, this is the last two that we just did. It's going to be this maple here and this ash tree, and that's really it for a little bit more, but it's coming towards the end of the day here for me. So we'll just take these two out, and then perhaps I'll cut that one that I mentioned earlier sort of on the way out, since it'll just be this tree and this much smaller one. Alright, let's see the plan here. I think that area there worked well twice. Let's see if I can make it a third time. The other thing, what I may do, actually I think I will. I think I'll drop it that way instead of that way. And the reason is, if I try to go there to the right of that's an ash tree there, then I may damage this maple that I'm trying to save. And over there's really nothing. So I'll do that. Drop that way. And the ash here, I'll probably just drop it that way. I'm guessing it'll lean up against the other trees, and then I'll just drag it out with a cable. Well, this is why I carry two chainsaws with me. So, it was going well. Thought it was going to go over and break the hinge, but it didn't. My saw is pinched. I had the wedge over there, thinking if I did cut the stem off, it would hold it above my bar and not pinch it. But well, I won't call that bad. It wedged itself in a couple trees there, small trees, poles I guess is the size. So this one's all limbed up, cut another 48 footer. This one I'll drag out to get the top down before I limb it up. So this ash is going to be a little tricky because I need to turn it, the butt end of it that way. Obviously that's in the way. But if it can't really twist around that tree because it's going to hit up against that small one down there. That's probably why it stopped where it did, in addition to coming up against this other log. So what I think I'll do is I'll just take the cable, put it on the big log, get that one out of the way, and then come back and try to pull this one out. Well, I guess sometimes those self-releasing snatch blocks don't self-release. Needed some help, but the good news is we got that out and free and available for us to pull easily. So I've got the maple chained up on the slider. Let's pull these out, get out of here. I appreciate your hanging around for this video, and I hope you stay tuned for more. Appreciate it.